Rec Board for the City of Bel Air Beach is open. It is now started 5:07 PM on Thursday, the 5th. The first thing we need to do is, we have to take a roll call. So if our secretary would do that.
Roll call.
So who's not present? Just
Oh, who's present?
I'm here.
Jim Van Scoy's here.
And Burke Serafi.
And so, Vice Chair, Rick Schock is not. Okay. The next thing is the approval of agenda. I need a motion to approve the agenda as it stands,
Agenda for today, last.
for today.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda as it
Yeah,
stands.
second motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thanks. Okay, so the next is the approval of the August 19th meeting minutes. You've had a chance to review them, Mr. Ortel?
Yes.
And how about you, Mr. Serafian?
Okay, I'm fine with it.
So does anybody want to make a motion we approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second?
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. Okay, so you and I will need to sign these at the end, okay? Next thing is the discussion about non-board members' time to be heard. We've discussed this before, and we're gonna just go through it real quick. Any time that we have a question, then it has to be opened up to the floor. So anybody, first the board gets to comment, then the audience gets to comment. That being said, I actually would like to, if this board allows it, to make sure everybody gets heard in the audience, whoever would be here attending any of these things. So that's the only thing I wanted to go over with that. So we're gonna go real quick through this agenda, because I know Mr. Ortel had sent a message to the city clerk saying that he had a short time span tonight. So let's go into the discussion on the Festival by the Sea. So, that would be number 4 on the agenda. The number 4 thing is that the bounce houses, we've got the contracts,
We're trying to work that out.
okay?
I just came because there's a couple of issues that I'm not sure we're aware of. Yeah, there's a couple issues that have come up.
Okay,
Contract for the bounce house has us taking the liability risk. Had the city attorney look at the contract, I've talked to our insurance provider, and we're gonna try to work that out, figure out what we need to do. Because the insurance, our insurance says it will not protect the bounce house company. And the contract says that the leasee will be responsible for any liability that happens, which, the city's not gonna take that risk. Our liability policy allows us to have bounce houses and duck tanks, but we will not pay for that contractors. If something happened, we would not be liable for that.
Sure, a kid can sprain an ankle so
Uh,
forth. A kid can sprain an ankle so forth, fall on their head. Isn't Mr. Bill's, didn't they agree to?
this is the bounce house right now.
Yeah, aren't they sponsoring the bounce
Yeah.
houses?
No.
Mr. Bill's?
No, it's a company we pay.
Okay,
Oh,
So,
well, I wanna let him
we've got a
finish
couple
and then
issues with that. The city will work on that. Between the lawyer sent me an email this morning sent another email, I guess, today, and the city attorney called me and said, what's going on here? I thought we settled this last night, that Krabby Bill's needs to sell the stuff. And, you know, if he wants to make a donation after the fact, that's up to him, but we don't wanna be in this gray area with a liability issue. But evidently, we haven't resolved that. So, those are the two issues right now. The tent thing, I talked to him today. We've got his invoice straightened out. A check will be sent to him. You know, we'll cut it tomorrow, so there'll be a check sent to him. So, you know, there's some concern here that we're trying to placate what, you know, we're doing here. And, you know, I don't know what the big deal is if Krabby Bill sells it. You must have a reason for questioning that.
Okay, I didn't want to interrupt, so I was letting you finish.
Yeah, so I did speak to Matt Loader about it, and he told me that if we sold it, which I knew we would have to do, we'd have to go to the state and get a certificate for insurance, or not, special event certificate. Know all about that, but our insurance, Florida League of Cities insurance, is questioning the fact that we would not be covered by some other company's insurance policy. So the easiest thing to do is, and Matt said he would do that, he said if he sold the beer as a caterer, he's provided his license, and there's no certificate, there's no nothing to do. And there's no liability on the city, because he's giving us the liability as long as we don't, you know, our volunteers don't sell it. Which, to me, is a cleaner, and even the attorney said that last night, it's cleaner. So, I don't know what the issue is now, but
I'll wait for you to get done.
you sent an email to the attorney and he called me, which realistically, if you want something through the attorney, you should be bringing it to the city. It's not for, it's kind of like, you know, George can't call up the attorney and spend his attorney time and then the expense comes to the city. That's not the way it works, unfortunately. So evidently there's an issue, so, you know, I don't know what the problem is, but we need to resolve this.
Okay, first of all, let's go back to the first thing, the bounce houses. Okay, I spoke to the lady after she spoke with you, and she sent a new certificate insurance with the correction in it, naming the city insured for the event. Okay, she did not want to add the city until she was for sure that we wanted to hire them, because every time they get that certificate of insurance, it costs the businesses.
No, I'm fully aware of that,
Okay, so you got a corrected copy then?
but there's a clause in the contract that says that the city will indemnify them and their attorneys with our insurance. Well, our insurance people say no. So if I mark that section out and say, okay, here, you give us a certificate of insurance, but we're not taking liability for accidents in your bounce houses, then we're fine. But, you know, our insurance carrier will not pay their legal fees.
Correct, and I had that conversation with her after she had her conversation with you, and she was totally good with that being left out of it, because I did get a response back from the city attorney in reference to that, okay, and,
She hasn't sent me something that says,
okay, all right, well, I had a phone conversation when she said she would definitely have no problem with having
yeah,
that
I
removed.
told her, we'll.
So that's number one. So it has been a very busy day because we're trying to handle all this last minute stuff. Second thing is, as far as the alcohol goes, okay? So I spoke to him after you spoke to him, okay?
Spoke to who?
Matt Yoder, as far
Yeah,
as the alcohol
Loader.
goes. And Matt Yoder,
Loader.
I apologize. Matt Loader says that he has a nonprofit okay, that will run the booth, sell the beer, okay, pull the license. He will cover the insurance for it and supply that little wand, okay, and then they would share the profits with us.
There again, you're muddying the waters of the liability. If he wants to make a donation.
That's what I'm saying. They would what they would do is they would send us the donation afterwards.
Yeah, but just what we said last night, you don't want, the city attorney said this, you don't want to muddy the waters with who's selling the beer. If Matt wants to sell a beer, that's great, city's got no issue, they've got a liability policy. But evidently what was sent to the city attorney is, well, you know, they got this, and this. You need to keep, you have to understand, it's gotta be a clean break. Either the city's selling it, and we're gonna go buy it from a beer distributor, and we're gonna go get a special event certificate, and we're gonna spend between $500 and $800 for liquor liability insurance, or the caterer's gonna sell it, and that's fine.
Okay, so let me just rephrase this then. They are handling it all. There will be liquor there. In fact, Matt said that they would also reimburse us for any deputies that have to be here. He's willing to pay for the deputies as well. So,
So the clause in the contract has to say a donation, not
it has to
Yeah,
say.
we don't need to get
No,
into.
we're not even, all he's doing is renting a booth space,
That's fine.
and
What he
so we're
sells
gonna
is his
add
deal.
them as a booth space. Well, actually, he's already been a sponsor, so he's already a booth space. He already gets a booth space. So they're handling it, and then if they donate money to the city, they donate money to the city.
We just need to make that clear.
make
Correct.
it clear that we're not being paid
Right.
Yeah, because
under a contract,
June
whatever it
sent
is.
an email to the city attorney, and it kind of muddies the waters. We don't want to get muddied. We're either need to do it this way or this way, not half and half, because then it puts the city in the pot.
Actually, I didn't send an email in reference that. That might have been straight from Matt, because he had asked
He
for,
said it came from you. And
I'll check it.
we
I'll check it.
shouldn't be-
I-
we
I'm
shouldn't
not
be
saying it
sending
didn't, but-
emails to the city attorney, 'cause
Oh, yeah,
it
but you
costs
said I
money.
sent to Matt. You said I sent it,
No, I said you sent it to Fred.
oh, okay.
And really, you shouldn't be doing that. If you want something sent to the attorney, you need to bring it to the city. It's like everything. If you want something done by the city, by an employee or anyone, you need to come to me. Patty's not their supervisor, I'm their supervisor. It's getting out of hand, and I'm getting frustrated, really, because it's like, oh, well, we'll just go around this way, and that's why I came back, because the city attorney called me about this situation. So, let's make it clean. The city employees work for me, they don't work for anybody else, and, you know, if you want something from a city employee like Kyle, you need to come to me. Patty's not their supervisor. And, you know, I know when I was on vacation, some emails went around, oh, I need Kyle for this, I need it. Wrong answer. Patty's not their supervisor. I'm their supervisor. And I'm getting really frustrated with people going around. And that's
Um,
what's been happening.
I asked through Patty to have,
Patty's not their supervisor.
I know, but you weren't here. You were out.
Patty is not their supervisor.
Okay, I thought she was the person in
No, she
charge while
isn't.
you were gone. That's
she
the only
wasn't.
reason.
No, she wasn't.
Okay, I didn't know that. But I
And
did,
We've been this route before, that's why I'm frustrated, because this has happened previously, and that's why I'm just, you know, letting you know that these people work for me, they don't work for Pat. And they don't work for the advisory board, they work for the city of Bel Air Beach, and I'm responsible.
well, I understand that. The only email that I sent was, Patty, could you ask Kyle if he would meet with me
And
on
he-
Friday? Okay, but all you had to do was say he has to ask Lynn first. That should have been the proper response, and that way
I don't
we
know what
wouldn't
she
get to this
responded, or
point.
if she even responded. I
She
just
she responded and said that that's good. That time is good.
Well, then I'll deal with her. But I just wanna make that clear, okay? So it sounds like.
But the other thing too, just so you know, I did say to her that his email is bouncing back at me, so she would have been out of the loop, to be honest with you. I did say that. I even told, who's the code officer?
Oh, Lord.
I even told Laura in person. For some reason, his email is bouncing back at me, okay? So, and I did say that to her as well in person, okay? She put a note on his door for him to email me, and that way I could have emailed back, okay? So,
I just wanna make sure.
okay,
My major goal is to, the event to go off successfully, but I wanna make sure the city is protected.
well, and that's
That's
the
all I'm-
reason, all the contracts have been sent to the city attorney, so that way we didn't make any,
They don't need to go to the city attorney, you're just running up a legal bill. They don't need to go to the city attorney. The vendor contracts, they don't need to go to the city attorney. He's already approved that vendor contract. The only contracts that I would send to the city attorney is what you're buying, as an example, the bounce house. I would send that to the city attorney. The tent-
I didn't send him any vendor contracts.
Oh, no, well, you're saying, I guess you're talking about those contracts.
Oh, no, I meant just the bounce house,
Yeah.
the canopy, and the beer were the only three things that I was issuing to him that, could possibly be, some kind of
But
lawsuit
those
for the
things
city,
still
so,
need to go through the city.
okay,
They aren't direct to the city attorney. Because all that's doing is saying, okay, well, this person's sending me something, the city attorney's using city time when he doesn't even really know who's supposed to be sending what. And that's not the way city government works. But the only thing I'm concerned about is our liabilities covered, and it sounds like whatever you sent to the city attorney, he misinterpreted it. 'Cause he-
I'll have to go back through and see exactly what,
So, all we need to do is be clear that Matt's gonna sell the beer, and we don't, he just has to give us his liquor liability license and make us an additional insured, and that's fine. What he does with the profits, I could care less, but we don't want anything that says, well, he's selling the beer and we're gonna take the profit. Because then you're a party to that situation, and that's what I'm concerned about. And what Matt does afterwards, who cares? And he shouldn't even have to get anything if he's doing it with his liquor license. Because he's an authorized caterer. So, I don't, I think you're okay then, if that's, we'll just keep it clean. And we'll resolve the issue with the bounce house.
okay,
And the tent, I spoke to him today and he knows, I sent him an email to confirm it and we'll get him a check back. Same with the bounce house.
and you got the second one where I told him we didn't need the fancy cloths over the weights,
The what?
the fancy cloths over the weights,
I
we paid extra for that.
I didn't see that.
Okay, so I had him send you a new invoice, because why do we need, it's not a wedding.
Since what time?
This afternoon, just make sure it reflects, you'll see the difference in the cost.
It was $617.
Yeah, you'll see the difference in the cost from the one previous, I can resend it to you.
Yeah, because he was
Um,
wanting to charge us a convenience fee for a credit card, and I said, no, we'll pay you by check.
Right,
I paid him $20 for my
Right.
credit card.
right. And the other thing is, I couldn't see us paying a charge to cover the blocks to go over a tent, it's not a wedding. We don't have to have it look pretty. And that was an additional charge,
And
so,
the last thing, I'm waiting on the contract from the sheriff.
okay,
I haven't got it yet. He told me he was gonna send it to me today, but I didn't get it.
okay. All right,
So, we're good.
okay. All right, so the other thing that, so we are having two deputies here now because there will be alcohol here, so, we need to, we will have them walk around, I've already addressed this with, in an email to, the city manager, that I prefer that we don't hire anybody that was a former city employee. And, cause he had said that one of them was one of the former officers at the beach, and I thought that that's not such a good idea, because they're on the clock. Everybody starts seeing them, it becomes a social hour, so, I asked that it not be a former city employee or an officer that, has worked before in the city. So that way, you know, that they're here to do a job, and that's what want them here to do, so, and he's waiting for the contract, so, that's where we're at with that. A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff's been going on, trying to get some things accomplished, and because of the sunshine law, we can't obviously communicate, like the flyers were revamped, and, you know.
Krabby Bill's paying for the deputies, huh?
Krabby Bill's has said that they would pay for the deputies,
Okay.
and that's $55 an hour?
Yeah, it's like, I haven't seen the contract yet, but it'll be something like $450.
Yeah,
Guessing,
okay,
you know,
okay,
that's more.
okay.
I asked for one, and he said, I have two now.
So we're not formally accepting anything from Krabby Bill's other than payment for the deputies.
The payment from the deputies, we can accept that money, right, for the deputies?
Just
Reimbursement,
make it as a donation.
okay, let me get
We'd still have to pay for it. We have to pay for it, all of this right now. We've got, I think it's $27.50
okay.
as of today.
So how do you want to handle that? Well, no, he got another $25. So $27.75 is what we've collected so far in revenue.
27.50 something.
Okay,
So what happens is that money's put into a line item in our general fund, and then out of another line item for expenses, we take that money for the bounce house, the tent, the deputies, all of that is just subtracted out of another expense line item, because that's the way the government works. They don't take it out of the what do you call it? They don't take it out of the bank that the money came to. They take it out of another bank. Sort of. It's just government accounting. So we'll pay it'll be billed to us, and if he wants to reimburse or make another donation, that's fine.
okay. All right. So, that being said, the next thing we need to work on is the,
Before we leave that, can I,
sure,
the two big issues were the bounce house and the beer and wine sales. And after half-hour discussion, is that resolved now, or?
I think the beer is, the bounce house, I just need to, between the attorney and I, we'll work that out. The lady was very nice that I talked to.
Okay. Then
She
she
said that was her standard contract.
and she does do the Bel Air Bluffs events.
Well, that's fine, I just wanted to know.
And
that
St.
we had
Pete's
a
events
plan.
and Largo's.
Yeah, we just need to make it clear.
Okay,
The major thing for me was the alcohol. I don't want to see.
but we have a plan to do it, where we don't get involved, so that's fine. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good, you're good. So the next thing I just wanted to talk about is briefly the layout. I am going to, is it still
Yeah.
okay to meet with him? Okay, so I don't want to put you in the middle, so if I ever do that, I mean, truly. Yeah, yeah. I asked though, just so you know, I didn't say you had to meet. It was an ask. So, you know, but I did thought she was in charge in your absence in my defense. Okay. So, in other words, should you ever not be here,
You can send, if I'm not here, you can send me an email. I'll get back to you. I still look at my emails.
okay, all right. What, just a suggestion for future reference
You'll have
though.
to wait for it, maybe 4 hours.
It might be a good idea to make sure, like all the organizations within the city that have to do business for the city maybe know the chain of command when you're in your absence.
They do.
Well, I didn't, so.
Well, some council knows. I don't portray it.
I understand, but I didn't know, so in my defense, I did not know. Okay, so that being said, let's move forward. Okay, so first thing is I want to address the parking. If you could look at the map that Kyle provided us, I just want to go over this. We talked about it once before, and it was brought up at council, so I just want to address it right away. The exit coming out of the park, okay, there was a couple spots marked there to park right here, okay? We are eliminating those, okay? Because the Coast Guard's gonna have their boat and truck there, the auxiliary, should they have to leave, we have to make sure that they can pull out. I mean, they can maneuver easier than a fire truck, but, and it's highly unlikely that they will have to, but, so they will be at the end of this, so those spots will not be used for the event at all, okay? So I just wanna make sure we address that. So, now, as far as layout goes, if you look at your maps, you have them. Okay, see the tennis courts behind City Hall? Can you see them? Okay. So there will be 2 bounce houses on the tennis courts, and Okay, so I propose that it has 2 gates. When I met with the bounce house person out here the other day, it has 2 gates. I would like to see if the city would allow us to put a plastic tie on that gate and leave the other one open. I can't hear you.
Yeah, that's,
Okay, that way the kids go in and out the gate nearest the park. So our goal here is, because we're gonna utilize, and I'll go over this in a few minutes, the city hall, some of the city hall parking, but it's so that way we can try to keep the kids closest to the park as possible. And that being said, the other bounce house will be on the half basketball court, okay? So, so there'll be 3 bounce houses. And then if you look on the map, see where it says Harbor Drive on the street? Can you see it, George?
Yeah.
Okay. Just before the H, okay, in the actual parking lot is where the dunk tank will be, okay?
Sorry. Gotta resolve.
So one bounce house will be here. and
The,
one
no,
bounce
two bounce houses will be here and here, okay? And then you'll have the dunk tank here. Okay, the dunk tank will be there, okay?
Do you want
Alright.
to take up parking space since it's limited?
There is, there will be no cars in with the park.
No cars parked here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely no cars. Kids and cars don't mix, no. Okay, and Kyle and I are gonna work out all the details about all the other spots, like filling in the vendors and the booths and things like that. Because we have to kind of gauge, like, we'll just say with the, garden club, we have to make sure, because we don't have a canopy for them, that we promised to put them in the shade, so, you know, that was another reason why I thought it'd be good to meet a little bit later in the afternoon so we could see where the shadows are to place their table. The guy with the canopy, he's bringing in a table, so we don't have to, supply that. I asked him to throw those in free. So he's throwing in a table and 2 chairs for the garden club. Okay, so we don't have to handle it, don't have to use city stuff for that, so that'll already be out there. So the main thing I wanted to go over with the board tonight is to talk about where the placement of the emergency vehicles. Okay, these are the ones that are coming just to, I want to say, you know, you know, like the K-9 unit and things like that, okay? So, but again, these are a deterrent for any possible situations, and that's what we kind of want to look at. So, if you look in front of the tennis court here, there's this little parking area here, and I don't, do you all know where there's the white dumpster areas out here? You know where the dumpster area is right here in the parking lot? There's a PVC fence.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay. All right,
It's there.
so from the PVC fence over to where you pay for the parking, okay? That area back is gonna be used for the festival, okay?
For the what?
And for the festival. The fire truck will be stationed right there, actually, at that opening. Okay, so this is where your fire truck will be, right here. That's so he can get in and out, and he will have cones placed in there. I've already secured that the fire department is handling that. We don't even have to handle it. They're gonna make sure their access is in and out is free and clear. And they will monitor it, which is another plus, so we don't have to deal with that. So the fire truck will be here. I was thinking, since the fire truck is there, that we could put what they call the MRAP vehicle, which is the assault vehicle from the sheriff department, the SWAT thing, or I don't know what you call it, the armored thing. So I thought we'd put the MRAP vehicle here, if that's okay with you, and that's right behind City Hall here. I want you to see it, so you can write it in. See right here? Okay. So the fire truck is here, the MRAP vehicle is here, okay? And then I thought maybe we would have the CERT team here, which is part of the fire. So it will be to the left, to the left of the dumpster. Now, the MRAP vehicle has a police officer with them. So there will be a police officer there at that end. Then we come down onto the grounds of the park itself, okay? And come all the way to the end, right down by where the Coast Guard is, okay? I thought the very first spot right there would be a good place to have the information officer from the sheriff department. So that way, you know,
Where exactly are you?
right here, coming right into the
Okay.
property.
Okay.
Would be our very first spot,
Gotcha.
okay? And I thought the reason that would be good was because if anybody looks suspicious coming in, then see we have them coming in from this entrance, we have them coming in from this entrance. Then, up here, the K-9 officer will be stationed up here by the music on the lawn,
Okay.
okay? So we've actually covered all points of entrance from the city, I think, by doing it this way. Plus, between them and our floating officers, I think we've addressed those kinds of things. I don't know what you all were thinking about that. Do you think that would be good?
Fine.
Okay. Okay. So the next thing is, I want placement of other, obviously, more things to protect the children, okay? So I was thinking that if we put Sunstar somewhere along here, okay, they have an EMS, okay? If we put Sunstar right along the tennis courts on this side, so we have the fire department on one side of the tennis courts, Sunstar on the other, we totally have that covered as far as having medical and officers near, okay? Then if we come over here to where the basketball court is, okay, that's where the other one is. If you come straight out from it and we place the,
Straight out which direction?
I'm sorry, straight out, this would be your basketball court,
Yeah.
and we come straight out from it, and I'm sorry, Kyle, can you see that right here? Yeah. Okay, so if we come straight out from it, and we actually place the fire union right there, then we have the fire near the other bounce house, the other
So
office,
between
the other
the
firemen.
basketball court and Harbor Drive, is that what you're saying?
Yes. And I think that encompasses what possibly, could lead to, if we have any kind of issues, is what I'm thinking. We've actually broken out all the organizations that help protect us, generally, are gonna be broken out throughout the event. So, is everybody good with that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
It does make sense. And, did the city manager have anything we'd like to add to that? No? Kyle?
When we work out the site map tomorrow, we'll finalize it.
It'll be finalized because then, I've already reached out to the fire marshal, and he's gonna meet with the city manager, and I will schedule a time next week and issue our final plan to him so we can get the fire permit. Yes.
So we'll take one master copy.
We'll take one master copy, and then if we can, to use the city's thing and make a copy of it for us. And then, I don't know if something this big can be scanned into the city's computer too, and then maybe, if it's okay with you all, we could have Patty send it to the board members afterwards?
Yeah, it can be scanned.
Okay, all right, so
Might
that
be
way
a
you,
little shady, but it can be scanned.
oh,
Well, because you're taking a picture and you're trying to rescan it.
okay,
A couple times it may lose some of its resolution,
okay,
that's all. But
all right.
the box is in.
Okay, all right. So then, Kyle and I will work out the rest of the parking things, if that's okay with this board, and the placement of everybody else.
Yeah, I have no problem with that, but I have a problem with some of the details.
Okay,
One detail is when all these vendors and not volunteers, but Coast Guard and everybody else start showing up. Who's gonna greet them? Who's
I'm-
gonna tell them where they have to go?
okay, so
How
I
are they
will,
gonna identify me as a representative of this festival?
so
from
I
anybody else?
addressed that with, someone else too. What I thought I would do is buy a special notebook, okay? So you're just gonna look for the guy with, or the person carrying one of the notebooks, and they'll tell you where your placement is for the event. But I don't know how early you all are planning to be here, but I'm gonna be here at 12 o'clock that day, okay? So that way, people can start coming. Some are gonna take longer than others, some are gonna just bring their tables, their canopy in, and they're gonna come back later, okay? That's what some of them expressed, because
But
I told them
they have to
they
find-
cannot have the cars
They have to
anywhere
find
near where.
somebody that represents the festival that they can go to when they show up here. They have to be able to say, oh, that person must be involved with the festival. I'll go ask
Right,
him
that's
where."
why I thought if we had the special folders in our hands, because I can't reach out to Rick Schock, so I have no idea whether he got the t-shirts or not. So my plan B was a colored folder. So we'll have a certain color folder, and that will be the person that they come to, and that's what I'll announce to them. I'm gonna reach out, I'll have a final list of checklists to go over every one of these sponsors and booths, people that are renting booths. I have a final checklist that I'm going over with them. I will have phone conversations with them prior to the event, so they know what to look for and what to expect. So,
Is there any way we can get, like the election day, I voted sticker that says something, Bel Air Beach or something that you can just put on your shirt and they can kind of recognize you? Is there something we can do? I mean, that just makes sense to me that you have something that identifies you as being involved with the festival, and somebody
Yeah.
has a question, they can say, oh, there's a guy with a little thing on his shirt, it must be involved.
right. So you have like a
They'll
label
come to me and
maker?
I go, I don't know.
You have a label maker? Oh, okay, so Mrs. Gunn,
Yeah. We'll just make a badge that you can bid on, so it doesn't.
oh, okay, that'll be great, yeah.
That'd be great.
They'll
yeah.
say, George's will say I work for beer.
And maybe a free hot dog,
And fish.
Fish, well, yeah, I enjoy
as
fish.
long as, let's not go to fish.
Take fish that I can mail my buddies up north and I
Okay.
caught this yesterday.
About parking, where are people parking?
Okay, so that was gonna be my next thing we're gonna talk about. Let's talk about parking. Very
So what-
big
so
issue.
what-
Let me pull it out here.
Who's gonna do this little placard thing? And you'll give them to
Here we go.
June?
Are we using any of the city streets?
Yes, we are,
Okay,
yeah.
so we're gonna meet again before.
Yes, I'm gonna have a special meeting before then, so
Okay,
we're
good.
gonna tweak everything, okay, and go over the last minute details and so forth, so we will have a special meeting. And I don't wanna set that date as it stands now,
That's fine, I just
because
nervous. that's all.
of, him and I haven't set out the thing, nor have we met with the fire chief, so that way if there's any other issues we have to address, you know, that allows us to get it together and bring it back in front of the
Okay.
board.
Okay,
So,
great.
let's go to the, well, wait a minute, let's go back to that one more time. Is anybody gonna be out of state between now and the event? Anybody on this board?
Sure.
Okay, all right, because if so, then just give me some dates and we'll try to work around it. Okay, so, you know, we talked about these maps. You guys got copies of them? You have them in your folders?
What's the question, Julie?
You do? Thank you, Kyle. Okay, so he was asking about the parking.
Oh, Kyle's got that little, a series of maps.
Right.
And he gave it to us.
Okay, so,
Got it.
I've taken it to the next level when we talk about parking. We talked about always having it on one side of the street or the other. So Kyle met with Rick Schock, our vice chairman, and they created this parking document. So it shows where all the parking will be for the city, and it'll only be on one side of the city. I've taken it to the next level, and I've gotten, some cones donated to use for the day. And we're gonna have the signs made up that are going to be placed inside, you know, the cone, out in the street, this side only, for the event. That way, we're not pushing signs down in anybody's yards, so that doesn't become another issue. And we know that that can become an issue, so,
Like what we do for city garage sale, same type of signs, when we have the city garage.
when you have, yeah, that's what they would have been. Okay, because then we would have to place them in a couple different spots on each street, and then we'd be placing them in residents' yards. Where the garage sale is only placed on the corner out at Gulf Boulevard, see? So we're not putting anything in anybody's yards. So I've taken it to the next level, and we're putting them inside the cone. So you'll have a stick that'll go down inside the cone, and it'll be attached to the sign, is what it will be. So that way we're not doing any of that, because I can see that'll be the next
So
issue.
parking will be where the red marks are?
Correct,
What's the green marks for?
same thing.
So there'll be parking on both sides of the causeway?
That was his plan B. Our goal was to go work it down towards First.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that.
But,
Rick's idea was kind of like doing, you know, Palm Cedar, Third West, and 19th and 7th,
and then
and then stopping and doing more
on 12th and 13th.
I was gonna ask you, because you said
Well,
other times that you don't want.
Well, that's the thing, I'm a little concerned about crossing the causeway and coming over, but,
People do it all the time.
they do it all the time, yeah. Rick says it's not our job to,
Yeah,
you know,
it's not that complicated.
yeah. So I would like to just stay with the original plan that you created with Rick, and going into the couple streets this way, but the other thing we want to look at, because we had talked about, we weren't going to be able to do any parking in the city hall, but we are now. We are. So if we keep that area that I showed you on this map, we keep this area strictly right here. We keep this for our event. All these spots are opened up now for parking, okay? Including the handicap spots here, okay? So,
Are these reserved for the vendors?
no,
Okay.
vendors pull in, they will pull in down the park, they will drop their stuff, and they will leave. I'm gonna actually have them proceed down probably to the furthest street away, because the people that are coming to the event, okay, should be able to park a little closer, and I have the vendors park a little further away. Plus, they will be instructed firsthand from us, don't pull on lawns, don't block driveways, where if you have somebody coming to the event, that's more likely to happen.
In reality,
So,
this entire area should be designated for handicap. You just can't have 2 or 3 spots for an event like this. And
actually,
this is the closest that should all be handicap, and everybody else can walk.
I don't think there's any regulation as long as we have spots available, correct? And we have ramping, that's the way the ADA thing is.
Yeah, I think it's 2 spaces per 100 spots that you have.
2 spaces per 100.
Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3 spots.
Yeah, so we've got more than we need for our.
Okay, yeah. And that being said, I know you said that you were bringing your wife and she's in a handicap, she's in a wheelchair. So my question to you is, because most of the event, is she volunteering at the event? Do you know? Did she
If
want?
I'm there, she might as well be there.
Exactly. Okay. So I don't turn down volunteers. Okay. So if you come down the park entrance down here, if you come down 9th Street, okay, you can wheel her straight this way. You don't have to do the ramps. But that being said, if you could be one of the ones that take the very first spot on 9th Street, because you do need to stay closer, plus it's a resident, so we know that you're not gonna pull in somebody's yard. So that opens up a spot out here. So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I haven't checked that, how smooth that street is.
It actually is very smooth. Actually, it's easier for you than to have to try to push her down the hill. You'd have to push her down the hill and push her
Pushing
back up.
downhill is a lot easier than pushing
Yeah, but
uphill.
exactly. But see, at the end, you would have to push her up.
Yeah,
See, where this is all flat surface,
yeah.
so you can come right in. It's
No,
a regular road.
Unless you push someone in a wheelchair, there's flat surface and then there's flat surface.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. If you don't mind, maybe you could drive down there and just take
Yeah,
a look at
I'll
it and
take
see
a
if that would work. So on 9th Street, let's see. Is this one? Okay. So on 9th Street, the parking is on the left. So you actually would have to turn around and be coming back out,
Left
facing
is
out from the
east
park.
or west?
Here,
I don't know left.
here, let me show
I
you,
know
please.
east and west.
Okay, so,
It's north and south.
so I'm speaking it out loud because we don't have okay, so what you would do is you would come here, turn around, and you would park over here somewhere.
That's what you're talking about?
Yeah, so you just
So it'd be
make the
this-
loop and turn around right here, and then you're gonna walk her right through here.
So it's north side of the street parking?
Right.
9th Street,
Correct.
okay. That's fine. Thank you, June.
All right, so, is there any other issues about the parking?
It's all one-sided parking, of course. Just. So you're saying left side, so that's left side going in, so they have to face.
So they have to
Direction
make
of
that
traffic.
little loop and act like they're heading back out towards Gulf Boulevard. The cars would have to be facing Gulf.
Right.
Correct. Yeah.
Then, this map is just, from what I could see in an aerial of available spots, but it's gonna be more about, you said the explorers,
The Explorers cannot make it.
because I think it's important just to have someone kind of making sure people are in correct areas.
Well, and we still have our on-duty officer for the city, Luce, driving around and so forth. So that it will be clearly posted where they can and can't park.
Yeah, and then, depending on who decides where they're parking, it's gonna affect the next person, so hopefully.
Right, hopefully they butt up, correct.
I'll give you a little information about handicap stuff. The right side of the street there at 9th Street means the passenger side opens onto the curb. And so you can't get a wheelchair.
Oh, you have a side loader?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, no, he needs to come in City Hall. Okay, yeah, you would have to park in City Hall, so no, we'll scratch that. You would have to park in City Hall. That would not work. Yeah. Okay,
No, I'll just have a wheelchair in the trunk and you have to wheel it up to the front car door, passenger side door. but it's gotta be, I can't be going across grass and stuff like that.
Right, no, I
because-
Well, do you have a handicap tag?
Yeah,
I don't know if the street parking is gonna be enforced to, if the cars facing the other way.
yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying,
Right.
You know,
these
Yeah.
are the kind of things you have to know about.
no,
Yeah.
I understand, you're actually doing regular street parking, but
Yeah.
you're supposed to be facing the lights.
Right.
So
Right.
far from, intersection, all that.
Mhm.
Right. So,
It's an extra revenue source if cars are parked on the wrong side, the wrong way.
it's on,
And then the only other thing was Rick, Rick was considering having people park in Shores access, but that would decommission if that was actually, or we just don't.
okay,
'Cause-
okay, well,
If they have
I
a
think the
sticker.
city manager was thinking about it. I mean, if you have a sticker, you can park there anyhow, so,
Yeah, right.
so I recommend that,
So we don't
that-
advertise it
We-
as parking, but if residents do park there.
right, and if they ask, they can park there, because they
Right,
can
if
park
they're-
there anytime, if they have a sticker, and that's what we
If you
need
have a
to say. If you have a sticker, you can park there at any time, so,
So the non-residents, I guess, can park there and pay the,
Well, they could get ticketed.
but if they pay,
You can't pay.
well,
for
if they
themselves.
pay Morgan though, if they park at Morgan,
Oh,
they
yeah.
can, yeah.
oh, boy.
But that's a long ways, yeah, but you'd be
So it's
surprised,
Village Shores
sometimes
property,
people,
Have to get an Uber to come.
Invited to
Yeah,
park
I
there
know,
with a
right?
sticker.
but you'd be surprised, sometimes people do that, they park and walk a long ways. Okay, so,
Are we sending these flyers to Bel Air Shores residents?
no. No, not that I know of, no.
That'd be cool if we did. So
No.
it's all about getting to know each other. It'd be cool to know what's going on.
It would, I agree, I would like to see us do it, I mean, they are like right here, I'd like
Yeah,
to
they're
see
right
us
across the
send it
street.
to Bel Air Shore,
I don't know.
Why don't we include them too? I mean, just,
I do know.
when we send flyers out, we have their address. So
Well, we're advertising on the website and then we're sending constant, are we gonna do a constant contact
correct,
specifically with that flyer?
right.
I don't know if we have Bel Air Shores on that list.
I think we should keep it to the Bel Air Beach community.
We've
We're
never
not
mentioned it
mailing,
before, but I think
Not
we should.
actually mailing.
We're not putting things in the mail, I mean, and you can, and it's illegal to put anything in their mailbox, so,
Is it illegal to just leave it on a doorknob? I mean, I get
We-
stuff on my doorknob all the time.
It's illegal.
But then who would do that?
well, Bel Air Shore has a different set of rules, so we don't know what their rules are. So that was something you'd have to look at their ordinances about that before you could doing it, but
Do they even have a city hall to look at ordinances?
they do not. You have to try to find them online or send a message to their city clerk. I've already been down this road.
And it's all gated houses, so it's not like you can put it on their doorknobs.
Exactly. You can't get near the front doors,
Well, I
yeah.
think the best thing to do is, the sign right here on the causeway,
Right.
cleared of everything else, other than Festival by the Sea, September 20th. There's a bunch of other stuff written on there, that could all go.
Yeah, and yeah, like
You know,
last night's council meeting probably could be removed and,
Yeah, that was.
and then that,
And then we got
what,
another.
was
we got
that other
Salvation
party
Life
gone?
this weekend, but, after tonight, this will be removed, then after Saturday, and then next, the private rental will be removed. And then we'll have the final budget that's gonna go up. We'll have a couple fire events, meetings, but, I mean, besides the fire meeting on that Wednesday, after that, I mean, the board could be, clear, I don't know, the first council meeting in October, we still have time to advertise for that. But you'd have to tell us exactly what you want,
right.
on the board, send it to Lynn.
Well, I was told that someone thought that if we could have the Festival by the Sea in bigger letters, is that the biggest letters we have?
That is the biggest numbers.
Okay, and everything has to go in date order on that board?
Well, if we clear it, and it's just, the 3-4 days before the event,
Right,
then we could probably just get pretty wide open with it if we're putting a bunch of information.
right.
And, I can resume before management.
Just 3 to 4 days before the event, can we do 3 to 4 weeks before the event? In other
It just
words, all
won't
September?
allow us to.
So,
be able to
we have
advertise.
less than 3 weeks now.
It won't allow us to put up, we gotta put up the final budget.
They have to, they're required, there's a certain ordinances that they, when it comes, I actually even think that's a county law, when it comes to advertising to the public about the
It's a
finances,
state.
state law, yeah, something like that. They have to actually publicize that the budget's coming up, there's a meeting on such and such
It has to be
regarding that.
publicized on that sign.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's gotta be a website.
yeah. Now, if
'Cause
we
can't
didn't
put a banner
own a
across the
sign,
causeway, the wind and the logistics is just liability to cover part of the fly rod. People hang it up, it's too labor intensive.
yeah,
Our only notice will be that sign.
yeah. And then, of course, the emails, and then, we have businesses in the Bluffs that have been advertising our event.
Okay.
And then the newspaper, LRB Wayneers, he's been publicizing the event. So,
Like, you guys control what you want, the information you want out there, so if you send something different you want on that website, sure, that's just the festival I see, but if you want something specific up there that sends it to them, I can put that out, so whatever the message you're trying to send.
How are these being handed out?
okay, well, that had to be created. Rick created that, I had to fix it because we didn't have sponsors on there.
Okay.
And
But the final product, how is it being?
that is now gonna be sent out in the constant contact email list by the city.
I didn't get the go, like, I didn't hear it through the city yet, I just got, Patty shared that with me.
Oh, we're not having
Did
physical
you
paper.
request that?
Okay, so we actually have to vote on that
Okay.
Yeah.
flyer, so, and that is actually at the end of the thing, so,
Yeah,
let,
and whatever you tell them, then I can use.
Oh, we're
Right.
not contemplating sending this to the homes directly,
Oh.
physically,
no.
because we can't open the mailbox, we don't.
We're not allowed to open a mailbox.
Right.
We could, as a part of the city, we can walk door to door if we want.
Yeah, but do we have the manpower to do it? No, we don't, so.
I have to concentrate on the volunteers I've gotten
So
so far,
1,500
so I have,
homes is gonna do all that walking.
yeah. Well, no, it's not bad. Actually, it's not that bad doing the walk. I mean, we did it during the campaign. We went door to door, we went
Really?
every door, yeah,
I guess
every
you have
single
to,
door. And like 4 or 5 times, so, yeah.
Wow.
But the thing of it is, I can't burn my volunteers for that because I
Right.
need them for the event, so,
Right.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But the other thing I want to talk about is we all have to be on the same page. So if you see somebody's doing something they shouldn't be doing, don't address it yourself. We don't want any possible situations, okay? Either get the city manager, get another one of us, okay? I don't know if you're going to be able to be here. I didn't know how the staffing is. I'm just asking. Just mention it to him. He can advise us. City could advise us, or we go right for the sheriff. That's what they're being hired for, to be here for the event. So, see something, say something.
The most troublesome people at this festival will be my kids.
I think so
There too.
too. I don't expect there to be any problems whatsoever. It's a very family-friendly event. And, but, again, though, having all the forces of all the safety stuff in place, I think that's a big deterrent for any possible thinking that someone could get away with anything. So, I think we've addressed the majority of the safety factors within the city, but, if you all have anything else, or you think of anything else, safety-wise, you can send that to the city clerk, and she can relay that to me. So if you think about something down the road,
I think we're well covered. I mean, depending on turnout, of course. We get 300 people, that's a lot of people.
right.
But if we have 100 people,
But just remember, most people, if they come, they usually come 2 in a car or better. So if you get 300 people, that probably is 100 vehicles, okay?
I don't think,
That-
You guys share, like, use cell phones for communication?
That's bridging.
Well, for the event,
It's bridging.
I mean,
leave it.
like, during the only event
I will have mine,
operations.
I will
That's an
make sure the
interesting thought.
deputies
I
have
think
my
you-
cell phone numbers. Okay, but I can't, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, he was, well, let me.
We're having a little trouble hearing because of the fan system.
I agree, yeah, no, I'm having problems up here. Correct me if I'm wrong, Councilman Bean, But he was asking if we can exchange cell phone numbers during the event. We can't really communicate during the event by phone.
If it's
To
event
run-
operations only, isn't that
I think that would be a good question for me to send out to the city attorney, don't you? So I'll send it through,
No, send it to Lynn Reeves. You
that's what I
want it,
mean, Lynn
that's-
Reeves through
yeah.
city attorney, right?
I can't see why we wouldn't want to communicate amongst ourselves.
I mean, I don't have a problem communicating with the council and the mayor during the event, but see, they're on my board, the way the sunshine law is.
But I know as long as you're not discussing any business that is coming,
Before
Well,
the
everything-
board, there's not a
we're
problem.
talking about an event here.
Everything we do on that festival day is,
It's gonna come back
business.
in front of the board, yes.
Well, I
'Cause
guess
we're gonna do a
communication,
recap.
Communication for emergency purposes.
Okay, for
I guess.
emergency purposes, okay.
Yeah,
So then,
communication.
as long as we address it only for emergency purposes, then, yeah, I'd say we're
I
good.
have no problem with you guys calling me. I mean, I only have one card left, but
I think do I have your cell? I think I have
Yeah,
your
you
cell.
got my cell.
Yeah, I have your cell.
I don't have another card, but I'll give
That's
you
all
the
right.
number just
Take
in
your phone and
case.
take a picture of
I,
it.
I just feel like there are gonna be so many policemen out here and other people out
I
here.
don't think there's gonna be a problem, but
I don't think there's gonna be a problem.
It's a fairly.
No, I really don't. You're gonna have the fire department, which communicates with the police department. Even though
Thank you.
you're,
Here.
you're not
You get to
gonna
keep that.
have, police protection from the other police that are in the van, they're still gonna communicate.
right,
I mean, that's not a problem. If emergency occurred, they come on board.
Right.
Just as,
Right.
yeah, that's just the way it works.
yeah,
They're not gonna sit there and say, no, it doesn't work
yeah,
that way.
right.
Who-
Like,
I mean,
if somebody's harassing, we'll say for instance, the two officers that are being paid, and somebody's harassing the two officers, you don't think one of the other fellow officers that's here just to
No, they're not
show
gonna
that,
stand.
they're not gonna
No.
stand for that, no, yeah,
If any shenanigans arises, they're gonna call it, and there's gonna be, the council will be there, you'll be there, you guys will be there. You can just nonchalantly go over and tap a officer on the shoulder. You're gonna have the ID on your shirt to identify who you are, and all you have to do is say, hey, I'm on the board, we have an issue around the corner with somebody, there are two people arguing about a parking space, could you go clear that, issue up? I have to compliment everybody because 15 years ago, or 2005 or 6, we didn't have to do all this. We didn't worry about insurance, we didn't worry about parking. I mean, you guys are jumping through hoops. It has to be done because the laws are now in place to protect the city. But we didn't even think about this stuff. I mean, I give you an enormous amount of credit for following through with all this stuff, because it's a lot. I mean, I was on council in 04 to 06, but it's nothing like it is now. Totally different. It's like night and day. So,
it's a lot more work.
it's a lot more. It's a lot
Yeah.
more, just because the way society as a whole throughout the world has changed. People have changed, their attitudes have changed. Demands have changed, and, people are looking for a buck. They sue you as a drop of a hat. I understand what Lynn's saying. I really do. It's protect the city all the way around.
Well, and
Exactly.
that being said, that's why the contracts were being sent to
Right,
the city
and
attorney,
I
just to protect the
understand
city.
it. I don't, to me, it boggles my mind sometimes listening to all this stuff, and I'm sure it boggles your minds also, but I applaud you for what you're all doing.
Yeah, and in May, if you remember, in May, I'm the one that initially brought up that we had to create a contract between the people sponsoring and the people renting the booths and the city
that-
in order
that,
to protect
you
the
know,
city,
I
so,
mean, everybody misunderstands this and that and the other thing, and
Right.
it takes a lot of patience to listen to all this stuff, and you gotta do it this way, you gotta do it that way. Ay, ay, ay.
and that being said too, if this was being
Yeah,
done
this
through,
hasn't been done.
through a nonprofit, if this
Is it-
was being done through a nonprofit, and the nonprofit was, say for instance, renting the grounds for the event, we wouldn't be doing these hurdles.
Well, but still, somebody trips,
somebody trips,
falls.
right, but then the
You know,
nonprofit
oh,
covers the
You
insurance.
hit me, you bumped into me, I fell over. You know, it's all kinds of baloney that you don't even think about.
Right,
People, it's like them trying to get through our email system or getting through the website system with this ADA compliance stuff. What is a guy on the East Coast trying to do get into our website? He has nothing to do with it, but he's looking for a free buck.
correct.
Why don't we
It's-
do this as a nonprofit? I mean, it's
Well, because there
purposes
was one, and we tried to reenact that one for this, actually, to be honest with. We tried to find, there was one within the city of Bel Air Beach years ago, and they shut it down for some reason, or,
Well-
no, just made it inactive. They didn't do
It
anything with
actually,
it.
it was attached to the city, it's a Bel Air Beach Citizens Committee, and they changed the name around, so it had no association with the city. And it was nonprofit. We had a phone book, they put on events here at City Hall. It was like a community group.
You have to set up an entire
Yeah,
LLC.
it was set up
It's
within
a
the city.
501c.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Three.
It was set up, but it probably wasn't done legally, Joe.
Okay,
You know, at that time, and don't forget, those people have been gone for 15
Yeah.
years.
right,
And the paperwork and everything, when they built the new city hall, and even the paperwork that we had in the old city hall was up on the second floor in the garage.
right,
Yeah.
And it was so not filed properly because there was no management like there is today.
right.
And nobody had the time to,
And that being said, we could, the city, not the city itself, but citizens within the city, we could create another one.
Right.
I mean, you know.
yeah, you could tag on that.
You have to create the corporate, you have to file corporate reports and things like that, but, you know, it's actually, I've ran them before, it's not a big deal.
The old phone books. I
Yeah.
mean, you could just,
Yeah, we could do that.
Recreate it if
We
you
actually
wanted.
could do that and then funnel all that through for them to handle, you know, certain things and so forth that the city's not allowed to, or there's too much red tape. It could be done that way. And something that we should look at trying to make happen after this event. But,
but even going back that far, when there was no cell phones, half the people didn't want their name in the book.
Yeah.
Half of them didn't want their phone number in the book.
right,
So it became a social group of just the people that wanted to be, and the rest of them just sit together.
right,
So, and you got that same thing today, it's no
Yeah.
different.
right.
The amount of people that are participating is more than it had been, which is beneficial,
Mhm.
but you're still gonna have that group that just doesn't
Yeah.
wanna mingle and mix. It's life.
Yeah, correct.
The only time you're forced into it is when you're in the military. You
Right,
have
right.
no choice. Sink or swim.
Okay, so that's something that I'd like to see us, we'll readdress after the event. I'd like to see us address trying to get one created within the city. You know, there has to be an initial outlay, so we have to get somebody to step up and say, once you create this, we will donate the first $100. I think it'd be like $100 startup fees, you know, because you have to pay for the certain things, but that's something to definitely think about trying to put in place, so we don't have.
It's like a welcome.
Yeah, it could be. You know, it could be. I actually think it would be a great thing for the city to have a welcoming committee, because we have new residents move in, and sometimes.
Pam was here, they had put something together, but what they used to do is a packet of all the local business, dry cleaners, gas stations, restaurants, which there was only one E&E up there years ago, but that was it, E&E was the game plan. If you didn't go there, you didn't eat. I mean, Sand Key was done, nothing there, Indian Rocks, of course.
Mhm.
When I first moved there, I said, geez, the whole town rolled up.
Right, and that being said, you can also get, like, the area businesses they cover, they pay to be in that directory, so it wouldn't be anything coming out of the nonprofit. So there's different ways to handle it and do it with us, so it doesn't cost the nonprofit anything whatsoever. So, and to compile that book, and then, so when, you know, you'd have members that be on a rotating basis, new somebody new moves into the community, you know, you go and you give them that and welcome them. So,
All right, got a good one from Kyle. Start this group up. And the way we can get it is Kyle put a beer tent in the corner. And the meetings will start at 6 o'clock for the community group. Free beer afterwards. You'll have them coming in.
yeah, I bet. Okay, so before you pull out, we actually need to vote on this. You got one of these, did you grab?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
I
so,
loved it.
okay, I need a motion on the floor to vote on the flyer that's going to be sent out to the community advertising the event. A motion. I need a motion.
I make a motion that we approve this flyer to be sent out to the community for this event.
Well,
Aye.
second.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Now, because we're voting, I have to open it up to the audience for any kind of questions.
Maybe you want to add beer? Are we doing wine also, or just beer?
We had just discussed beer, but if he wants to do wine, I think beverages just leaves it, I would say just leave beverages. I don't know that we wanna,
Advertise if there's alcohol.
yeah, I don't, yeah. I don't know that we, and we can, because there's gonna be multiples of these sent out, so we're having a special meeting. So should we decide to add alcohol to it, then, because they need to get this out right away, I guess is what I wanna say.
Right,
So,
right, that's good.
so if we send it like this, and should we wanna add alcohol, is this board good with that too?
Well,
We
I
can
would-
add it
you know,
down
I
there,
wouldn't-
Adult beverages.
adult beverages.
Just leave it the way
I
it
would.
is.
I
Leave it the
wouldn't
way it
adver-
is?
I wouldn't advertise anything like that. Just leave it.
Okay,
Better not
Just
to
leave it
advertise
beverages.
it because you
Okay.
get too many.
Right.
Get people coming just for drinking
Just for
then
drinks.
instead of the festival.
okay,
It's better just to leave it.
okay.
What do you think?
I think it's
It's
great.
here. You know,
Yeah.
when they come, they can see it, but why put it on the,
Okay.
Right,
just
All
less
right, then that's fine.
liability.
That's the way
Yeah.
it is. It's good.
okay. All right, so any other discussions?
Did you hear from,
We will be, I will be reaching out through Patty to have our last meeting just before the event, so we can tweak everything else that we need to tweak,
okay,
okay?
just Sunray Marine, they said that they probably don't have enough, if they didn't contact you, it's because they didn't have enough manpower, employees to send with their.
Oh,
to
okay,
launch it. So if you didn't hear from them, because, Jason said, more than likely we won't have enough employees because they're participating in the Clearwater,
okay.
race. So, did he contact you then? If he didn't?
Yes, he did.
Today, I mean.
No.
No, then they're not participating, because today was the deadline.
Oh, okay, okay. Did you want it, are you doing a booth?
Yeah.
Did you already fill it
I
in?
forgot to bring the check, or I can bring it first thing in the morning.
I'm okay with that if,
Just forgot I was
Yeah.
doing,
Yeah. okay, yeah, because today was the deadline, so
Oh,
we just
yeah, I
have to.
know.
And I reached
I
out
just
to
came
somebody
straight from
else
my
and
office,
told
I
them,
forgot.
yes, okay. All right, so with that being said, anything else? Meeting stands adjourned.
I make a motion that we adjourn.